What's up, Block fam? Today we are continuing the Indian Chief demo rides, and they've got me on a different model here. They've got me on a bobber, but the upgraded version because it's got the 116 and the digital gauge. Getting a little spoiled. It's got the bars that come up. Riding this thing for a while, probably 100 miles or so. As we get on, kind of explain it all. I'll give you guys my thoughts and impressions. It's a great looking bike. It's got that kind of muscly stance to it with the bigger front wheel. Classic look with the spokes. Clean line to the bike. I like it a lot. Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So here we are, sitting in the cockpit of the new Indian Chief bobber. Just a real quick go over controls before we get started. Left side, you've got trigger switch up here, which is going to control the gauge. You've got your horn, your high beam, low beam, pass light, indicators and hazards, and then controls for music and scrolling through the gauge settings, menus, and stuff as well. Right side, you've got your on-off. You got to flick it on, and then you have to press the on button, like press and hold for a second, which lights up the gauge. And then for a neutral, which we're not, so go ahead and throw it in neutral. So yeah, you flick this on, and then you press and hold to basically wake the bike up, and you press the one on the right to turn the bike on. And then you got cruise control as well. The gauge in the center, which is their new gauge with ride command and all that good stuff. It's got an absolute ton of settings in here, which we can scroll through here. Hit resume. Visor down so we don't get a bunch of dust. So we're leaving, what is it, Vulture City, I think it's called. Totally awesome being able to camp here. If you guys didn't see that last vlog going over it, you guys be sure to check it out. Ton of fun hanging out with Brandon Picasso, who's in front of me, her two wheels, the rest of the press, and the team from Indian. Just absolute great experience here. Camping in tents. Got a little cold. Woke up to a spider in my tent. Pretty good sized spider too. Overall, just really, really awesome. If you guys want to check out that video, be sure to check out the link down in the description below. Guess this is a good time to comment on the suspension of the bike. Yeah, same as the other ones. If you guys haven't watched my other test ride videos, the suspension, it's a little stiff, but it's not like really super just sloppy, so which makes it predictable, so that's really good. Jumping right into it. So the biggest difference between the bikes that I was riding yesterday and this one, so yesterday I was on the normal Chief, right, and they had the drag bars and the mid controls, so I felt a bit cramped up. I'm 5'10", like without boots on, 5'10", like probably a little taller with boots on, obviously. Yeah, I did feel a bit cramped up because the bars are down here and then your feet are like more back, and so it did feel a little squished, but rode a couple 100 miles like that with no issue. So today, being on this one, it's got like what, these mini 8 style bars or whatever, and then it's got the forward controls. I gotta tell you, this is much more comfortable. And this one has a 116, so we got plenty of that power as well. Ooh, go and zip up, it's cold. It's funny because it probably doesn't look cold, seeing as how we're in the desert and there's cactuses and such, but it is pretty chilly. I think it's like in the 40s this morning. We're actually gonna go to an elevation of about 7,000 feet today, and there should be some snow where we're going to, so that'll be fun. Alright, so going through this gauge is absolutely beautiful. It's a touchscreen gauge, but you know, if you're riding, you don't want to take your hands off bars, so you can use the trigger. So on this screen, we've got the speed on the right, and then we've got the RPMs on the bottom. You've got your fuel gauge and your gear indicator, as well as your odometer. Looks like we're getting off on the side here, probably for a quick photo spot or regroup. You guys can see where the indicator is there on the right. It's flashing. Well, whenever it cancels, it does this nice little animation where it swooshes out of the way. It's pretty cool. Awesome. All right, so we'll go ahead and turn this off. Continue to go through the gauge. So if you press once from there, it goes to, yeah, kind of information about the bike. 44 miles per gallon fuel economy. You've got your range. You've got your time at the bottom. Outside temp, battery voltage, current ride status, and GPS, which is super bad. They've got GPS like in this gauge. Then if we touch this, it's pretty much the same stuff. Then you've got menu, touch here, you've got kind of access to different parts. You can go to your bike, which this would be like the settings. Go back to menu, you can go to ride. It kind of gives you all the stuff that the other one does. Map, music, phone, if you connect the phone. You've got settings and then controls. So I'm gonna keep that engages and then go to controls, which gives us access to the ride modes. So you've got touring mode, standard mode, and sport mode. And you can pretty much change these while you're riding. So like if you're on throttle and you were to change it though, you have to let off and throttle has to be at 0% in order for it to swap over. But the fact that you can change it while riding is super cool. And then just to go back home, you can hit X there and go back to your gauge. You can kind of, swipe over to get a different gauge. So we've got this one, a little more simple. This one is a bit more detailed. So I think I usually like to keep it on this one because I like to be able to see the RPMs, see when I'm getting close to that red line so I know where to shift. But absolutely beautiful, like just so well done. Like this piece of technology right here. So whenever Indian was designing the Chief, the three main components that they focused on was style, performance, and technology. So SPT. Style of the bike looks just, I'm a big fan. I see this performing very well on the market. I mean, it'd be awesome to be able to grab one of these, customize it up a bit. But yeah, people are going to take these in all sorts of different directions. I'd really love to do one up like kind of that really low drag style, kind of bobbed fender even more. So yeah, we're about to do a couple photos, so I'll take you guys through that run and we'll be able to feel how it handles. Usually it's on a turn or in a couple twisties, so that's always awesome. And yeah, we'll drop a couple of the photos so you guys can see what they look like. Yeah, afterwards I'll comment on how the bike feels a bit.
Alright guys, we are done with photo spot 1, headed to photo spot 2, which I think they were saying was about 25 to 30 miles away. So we're going to ride for a bit. Just initial first thoughts and impressions of the bike so far, because I forgot to reset the odometer, but probably got about 10 miles on it between whenever we left and going back and forth between the photo spot. One of those cool things about stopping for those photos is they usually choose, some kind of small segment of road, and we get to go up and down it a total of 3 times. So like 3 passes, so basically 6 times, and you really get to know the road whenever you do that, which makes you like understand like how fast you can approach a corner, how hard you can lean, and all that stuff. And it really like gets like, it really like makes you kind of learn the bike as well, which is awesome. It's a perk of, I guess, having to go up and down these roads a few times, which probably wouldn't do otherwise. With having done that, those initial first thoughts and impressions, the 116 obviously insanely responsive, very peppy, even in just standard mode, which is the mode that we have it in right now. So if we were to go here, it's in standard. I'll probably just leave it in this mode for now until we get to a bit more like technical roads, and then switch it over to sport, and it becomes much more responsive. Switch back to the normal gauge. So yeah, incredibly responsive, as expected, based on riding a 116 and a 111 yesterday. And the most notable difference between the ones I rode yesterday, because those were with the drag bars and the mids, the ergonomics on this one are just so much better for somebody that's, my height, which, like I was saying, 5'10" plus boots. If I were to, end up getting one, if I was looking at the bobber, I'd probably want to do it like low and lean, or maybe I'd want to do these apes and shorten up that fender a bit. But yeah, the ergonomics on this are much more comfortable. I don't feel as, cramped up. Now, with the forward controls, you do kind of lose a sense of being able to control the bike as much. But, I mean, probably not, not a lot. I'm definitely going to see whenever we get into like some more technical stuff, which we're going to be doing here in just a little bit, whenever we get up into the mountains. But for now, the fact that we're doing, a couple 100 miles today, headed back to Sedona, like, I am a big fan of the taller bars and the forwards. So yeah, just some initial thoughts and impressions and insights. So gonna keep on riding, logging those miles, and we'll montage it a bit, enjoy the scenery.
I know I am. It is absolutely beautiful out here. Arizona, you guys are beautiful. Y'all have got a great state. I know there was a couple of y'all that commented in the comment section on the FTR test rides, you know, saying like, hey, you know, glad that our state made a good impression on you. I'm just a big fan, guys. Y'all got a beautiful backyard here, that's for damn sure. Look at this. All right. Cruise control. Montage. That was a bad turn, man. That was fun. You jumped ahead. I'm like, all right.
You saw what we were doing, right?
Oh, dude, that was fun, man. Yeah, I was like, you know, it feels like you're flying in formation, you know?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
On camera?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. That's why, like, I was pacing you, because I was like trying to get you on camera.
Yeah.
All right, so they got us in a group of 3. It's myself, Brandon, Picasso. So we can get on, get the bikes ready. All right, so these should be some of the cool shots, the action shots where we're pacing behind the photographer in a van. They've got cops shutting down the street so we can get some good shots without traffic and all that. So super cool. Hopefully these come out great. I mean, I know they'll come out great because it's the same photographer as last time around, which is Jordan Pay. You guys be sure to go give him a follow. Absolute crazy talented guy. All right, here we go. Sweet. All right. So we are at lunch, which means we are switching out bikes, which means I got to leave the key for this one. Key fob. Boop. All right. So what do we think about this bike? It was awesome. I loved it. Comfortable. Lean angle. Obviously, want a little more out of the lean angle, but it's a cruiser. If you're looking for lean angle, anything more, I don't know, like FTR. Plenty of power. You guys saw whenever I switched into sport mode in the canyons and stuff, like in the curves, and like totally different monster. And then like for this stuff around town, residential, you know, switching it over into just regular standard mode works really well. But yeah, overall liked it. I felt I was kind of scooted back a little bit on the seat whenever we were riding it. Brandon, how tall are you? 5'10". 5'10". Can you sit on this for me real quick, just so we can see what you look like on it? So Brandon is 5'10". And this is how he looks like on the bike. Cool. So that's the review on that bike, guys. I liked it a lot. Jess, what'd you think of it?
What did I think of what?
Your standard.
You know, I actually really liked it, but my wrists are starting to hurt. I feel like I need higher bars on it.
Yeah. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button for me. If you're not subscribed, hit subscribe. Hit the bell icon so it sends notifications of future uploads and activity. Until next time, ride safe, stay vigilant. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.